Well, all right. Back for another show. Back into the 90s. How are you, Kel? How are you, Adam?
I'm great. It's my favorite decade.
Adam, you really do enjoy this decade because part of your email has your birth year in it.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
I won't give out your email, but
do it. Give it out.
Well, you know, it's my name. It's a certain year in the 90s at gmail.com. You know, casual, normal email.
Love it.
I fake out people with my the digits in my email because it has nothing to do with my birth year. It's just the two numbers I really like. So everyone's like, "Were you born in that year?" I'm like, "No, I was not born in 1927." But anyways,
Kelly's email makes me smile every time I send her an email because it sounds so.
What? You're
Francie
right.
McConnell.
I just noticed this is not your birth year. Wow. Huh.
Yeah, no, it's not my birth year at all.
The more you know.
The more you know, the less you remember.
That's it. So Sharon, just before you kick off again, a reminder to our audio friends who are listening on all the podcast platforms that if you'd like to see the visual podcast, you can do so because we have it edited and on our YouTube channel. So youtube.com/Kelly Alexander Show. And this will be episode 6 in all of season 10, but episode 3 online.
And episode 4,000 in total.
Yes, exactly.
I'm going to need to buy a ring light for this video. My lighting is so much worse than both of you.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? Kelly, do you use a ring light?
I do. I have one currently positioned over there.
Well, it's interesting. I think the positioning of the ring light I don't have one. I have a lamp. That's a precursor to a ring light. But sometimes depending on where you angle, I know a friend of mine that uses one and it doesn't always come off as complimentary. The color doesn't always come off as complimentary.
I had to spend a gajillion hours, and I'm not joking, playing around with all the lights to make this look even remotely, because I have to light me so I show up, but then I can't be too light so that the cool LED lights get drowned out. So honest to God, I was like cursing a blue streak at this point because I'm like, when is it? And then somebody actually suggested, like, you could try this. I'm like, no, it's over. I'm like, this is
thanks, no.
Yeah, that's it. And I forgot to mention, as we were talking about the visual podcast, we got a message, and I kept this as a surprise from the two of you, Adam and Sharon, that Salvatore Briganti sent us a message on our Facebook page saying that it was super cool to see us in person on the visual podcast.
Nice.
So shout out to Sal, who is listening all the way from Reno, Nevada.
Nice.
And watching, I should say.
It's a dry heat there.
Yeah.
I like that. Exactly. For the rest of the podcast, I'm going to do it from here. Does that work for you guys? And then for days where I'm having not like a great hair day, I'll put like a face.
Nice.
On your microphone ball.
When you
talk like that.
Move, I don't know if you realize this, but you're channeling Kanye West and Kim Kardashian West, who as of late have been wearing masks to outdoor events.
They've done that for more than the Met Gala?
Yeah, he was just at a performance, I want to say in Russia, but I could be wrong, and I think it was for a wedding, and he performed and he had a mask over his face. And apparently there was some issues because I don't think they thought through the mask with him needing to perform. So there was some issues is what I read.
Meaning like audible issues? Meaning
I don't think everything was going through the mask well, like audio wise. That's what I heard. That's, but
that's the whole issue in social situations, period, is that if you talk at a certain level and then you put something in front of it, it muffles it a bit. And then for people that don't speak at a level where they're projecting, I mean, we know how to project because that's what we do.
Yep.
But for the low talkers, I find myself doing the lean in. What's that then?
Yeah.
What'd you say there? Speak up. You know what we're talking about today, you guys? A lot. We've got the story, or at least a part of the story about the great rock and roll survivor that has written yet another book. The stories from his first book were jaw-dropping, but we'll talk about Nikki Sixx in just a bit. Also jaw-dropping, Mel Gibson. He's had some jaw-dropping actions in the past few years, but he's got a few things on the go at the moment. So we'll talk about a couple of those. Also, music news from two very different sounding artists, but both the artist and the band that we're going to talk about, who are not working together but do have new things coming out, are kind of always evolving, always on the move, and that benefits the fans, no doubt about that. Kelly's trivia, some 90s rewind to get to, and that the Dancing with the Stars has a little less spice to it. So I figure we should start there.
Yeah.
Sad news.
Wah.
Devastated. I don't even watch the show, but I'm devastated.
Because Mel C has scooted off the floor on Dancing with the Stars.
She was gutted. Did you read her statement? She was gutted.
You know what? The thing about the term gutted,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It had an impact the first time I heard someone say it, and I thought, wow, they must be really feeling it. And now I hear it all the time. I'm like, no, I don't think that's the correct term.
It's like
for this situation.
It's like an overseas thing. It's like a British and those folks say it.
Oh, because of the fish and chips, maybe?
Maybe that's it. I'm not sure, but that's like a saucy term they use.
I hear it here too.
Do you?
On this side of the pond.
From them folks.
From them folks. Anyways, do you know what the dance was that got her booted off? Because you're saying you don't watch it. I don't watch it either.
I don't. I just saw that. I saw because it showed up right away on my Instagram feed. Because as of our recording, it happened today, and so I saw it show up right away this morning on my Instagram feed. And she looked so devastated, Mel C. And I just immediately, and I was so shocked because even though I'm not watching the show, like, she's such an incredible performer. I couldn't believe she was even in the bottom two at this point, because aren't they only like 3 or 4 weeks in? Like, I thought she'd make it to the top 3, no questions asked. And that's probably when I would have started tuning in, is to see her go to the final. So,
you know who I think is probably really enjoying this, and not enjoying, but kind of really enjoying this, is Victoria Beckham.
Really?
Well, because if she listens to this show, she knows that we know that she only has one dance move,
right?
Which is leg out,
the left leg kick out,
and do it again.
Yeah,
and that's it. So now that her friend, who technically has more sportiness to her and maybe more moves, I guess Victoria's like, well.
I think it's
guess not sporty.
I feel it's like because she's not from America.
Really?
You think?
I just can't understand it. She lost out to, I think the other one that was in the bottom 2 with her, if memory serves, is Olivia Jade. Like, what's her face?
Don't even tell me that. That's who she lost to?
That's who she went out to.
Because that bugs me that she's on the show at all.
Right. And
shouldn't she be in school that her parents bought her into? Like, shouldn't she be practicing whatever fake sport got her into,
rowing,
right? It was rowing. So her parents went to jail.
Yep.
And she's on Dancing with the Stars. That is the most Hollywood thing I have ever heard.
Go out.
Bonkers.
I have a theory.
Go ahead, Adam.
Good. We need it.
I know they did a version of the show here in Quebec with French Quebec celebrities. And I happen to know a few of the people who've made the show. And I've been told sometimes people want out of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then she's a good actress, because
she was gutted. A lot of, well, exactly.
Yeah.
But sometimes people just want out. I'm not saying that's what happened, but
yeah. I had no thoughts that she wouldn't be in the top 3. If not win it all. Like, the only one I thought who could beat her is that Amanda Klutz girl. Because
maybe she didn't want to win. She doesn't need the money.
Who doesn't want to win?
Well,
she's competitive. She wanted to win.
She's Sporty Spice. And let's remember, second place is the first loser.
Yeah. Silver is not gold.
Really?
It's true.
Wow.
It's true. Yeah.
Anybody that wins silver, anybody that's in that gold medal game that wins silver, I mean, it's still silver, so you still got there.
Yeah.
But there's that tone that I just paid. It's still good.
It's even like in a hockey tournament or whatever tournament, when you're fighting for a medal, you'd rather win bronze
than
silver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
It's
silver's
weird 'cause I really like
consolation.
silver earrings, but not.
You are so
I don't like silver
fancy.
in karate competitions. I don't like it, especially because like you're so close, right? No.
No. Oh well, Kelly, your karate days are still on, so don't
They are.
worry.
They're still happening.
Let's move on. You ready for karate aside? Do
Mhm.
you have some trivia chops that you can give us?
I do.
of course she has.
Now, trivia.
Bing bong.
Bing, bong.
Nice. So this week, because we talked about it last week, that I had a Janet Jackson question. So I'm going to bring that Janet Jackson question back, and then we're
Uh-oh.
gonna
She's
have a-
here? Oh no, just a
Then-
question.
then we're gonna have a discussion about it. And also, by the way, I almost forgot. I wanted to make a correction on something I made a mistake about on 2 episodes ago. I said that Rick Astley's "Cry for Help" was released in '93.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think it was 91. So apologies for misinformation, unless it was 93 in North America and 91 over in the UK, but I'm pretty sure it was 1991. So
I can't
Nope.
believe it. If we don't have a commitment to quality, then what are we doing?
well, we're
Just
doing
kidding,
what
that
you
was
do. You
acting.
say things with confidence and then people will believe
That's
you.
true.
Yep.
That's true, Kel.
All
Good
right.
on
So
you.
question, I'm gonna save Janet for the second question. First question will be,
Yes.
in Dumb and Dumber, where do Lloyd and Harry have to travel to in the adventure of returning the briefcase to Mary? What locale?
Sharon,
Yep.
is it like Colorado?
I need a like a town, like a city name or a town name.
Boulder. Boulder, Colorado.
There we go. Adam.
I was
So
about to
no,
say
then.
Denver, Colorado. So
Aspen.
Aspen.
Close.
You know what? Not getting that question is a pain in my Aspen.
There we go.
I know. It's a groaner.
So bad. All right. So here's the big Janet question. Which album, and I'll say in advance that I have a bone to pick with this card, which we'll say,
Uh-oh.
yeah. Which album did Janet Jackson, if you will, release in 1993?
Sharon,
Sure.
if
That's a song, Sharon.
whatever. It was close.
Adam?
25 years ago. No.
Sharon,
I'm pretty sure I worked on that album special on your show with you a few years ago.
Yeah.
So that
did.
would have to be. Oh,
Selective amnesia, Adam
not
has.
get this. Oh,
We did a whole series of
I know.
interviews on this album.
I know.
I know it now.
How do I not remember this?
You're
Adam,
beat red, Adam.
Adam,
Oh,
I think it's the velvet rope.
it is the Velvet Rope.
It's super incorrect from the two of you.
Really?
Damn it.
Velvet Rope was released in 1997.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So the Janet album was
Oh, of course.
93.
It's like brown and she's
yeah.
kind of
And that was the
golden
one with the
toned.
infamous Rolling Stone cover with her
Yes.
husband at the time's hands over her boobies, if you will. Yeah.
Okay, now
Uh,
I have a question.
Yes, Adam.
How can you not agree with that answer? You said you had a bone with this question.
Oh yeah. So the thing is, so the card, first of all, the card singular says, which album did Janet Jackson release in 1993? And then the answer, they write Janet, comma, Poetic Justice, comma, and Design of a Decade. So first of all, it's not plural, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And second of all, these other two answers are incorrect. So the Janet album is correct. Poetic Justice was released in 93, but it's the soundtrack to the movie. So it's not her album. And she only had one song on it. It's like a full album of other artists, including Tupac. And then Design of a Decade was released in October of 95. So like,
Wow.
now I'm questioning the accuracy of all these.
This is a moment in the life of this show
Yeah.
where we are questioning everything.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what we should do? We're brainstorming live. We should have our own 90s trivia created by the people of 90s now.
There we are.
Us?
Let's
Yeah,
create a 90s trivia game. Let's stop using all of those other games. Let's create our own. It's
Mm.
going to be so accurate.
Also
Right.
a lot of work, Adam.
90s as we remember it.
Yeah. And we'll start with my Rick Astley incorrect.
Yeah.
1993
Yeah.
Order of the questions will be related to Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
And the fine print will be, some of the answers may actually be incorrect.
Exactly. I'm wearing Tupac tonight, though, today.
Oh,
I-
very
There he
good.
is.
That is poetic justice.
I love him.
Oh,
I'm sad.
I'm
he's
wearing
not
Red
here.
Sox because they're kicking butt.
Nice.
I'm wearing a bland gray shirt.
Where's your McLaren shirt?
It's not in my bag. It's at home.
Okay. Next
I
week,
think
Adam.
it's in the
next week.
laundry. You know, it's kind of, with clothes, sometimes when you wear them often,
Okay.
You
sometimes
should wash them once in a while.
go in the washing machine.
On behalf of the group, thank you
Yeah.
for doing that. So if I were to tell you that Nikki Sixx is clean and sober, would you be surprised by that?
No.
No. We know that he has knocked on death's door a couple of times because of his penchant for partying. We know that because he's written about it. But the fact that he's clean and sober should be less surprising than it is to a lot of people. And this, according to Nikki Sixx himself, he talks about how he's kind of looking at somewhere between 25 to 30 years of not sticking needles and drinking alcohol and taking pills and stuff. And that's a quote. He did go on to say that he's, quote, actually living a pretty clean lifestyle, but people don't think that when he walks into a restaurant, when they go, hey, man, what's happening? High five. Let me buy you a shot of Jack Daniels.
Do you think
Which
that's
I guess under normal
like
circumstances
nervousness?
would be good.
Do you think it's like nervousness on their part, Sharon? Like it's like, oh my God, this Nikki Sixx. I'll buy him a drink.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Considering what they've all been through as a band, like music aside, just the lifestyle.
Yeah.
He almost didn't survive twice. So he's one of the great rock and roll survivors, that's for sure. He says he's been 3 decades clean now, which is fantastic. And the fact that he is getting older, he has to work out pretty hard. He talked about how he's super on treadmill. He's super getting ready for tours and stuff like that, because everywhere he looks around, he sees bands that are still hitting their stride and that are on their A game and stuff like that. And he doesn't want to be the one that they go, poor old Nikki Sixx. He's lost his steam kind of thing. So he's totally working out and keeping it real. And he's written another book. So we know the chunk of life where he started making music and then forming Motley Crue and stuff like that. But his new book is called The First 21, How I Became Nikki Sixx.
Nice.
Yeah, which the bottom line about how he became Nikki Sixx, I think, boils down to a couple of things, including sloppy parenting, meaning his parents, and actually stealing what would be his stage name, because the young Frank Farana stole his name from a guy in a band called Squeeze, who spelt the name differently. So even though Nikki London and Nikki 9 were on the table up for consideration, Nikki Sixx liked the name Nikki Sixx with the double K and the double X and took it. So the other guy, who was in a band called Squeeze, was left to figure out his own new name, I guess. But fun fact, though, Squeeze wasn't the band that was already having hits at the time where this other band in LA would have been calling themselves Squeeze. So that's kind of like band karma.
Yeah.
You know?
Who
You've
calls
taken your
themselves
name.
Squeeze?
What's that?
Who calls themselves Squeeze?
The band name Squeeze.
I know.
But there is a band at that from the mid 70s to the early 80s that were very successful.
I don't
as
think I would
Squeeze.
wear a t-shirt with Squeeze on it.
Squeeze it.
Squeeze
There's
these.
just so many connotations of what that could mean.
Exactly. But they had huge hits. Notice I didn't say biggest hits, because if you say that fast, it sounds like something else. Anywho.
I also wanted to revisit if you were going to call it hip hop again this week.
What's the hip happening?
We're still happening, Sharon. Back to you.
Oh, yes. What's happening? 90s now. Still happening. You know who else is still happening? Despite the fact that at 65 years old, he could be dialing it back. Oh, no. Mel Gibson has actually got 2 major things on the go, about to start filming a new movie called Hot Seat. Which, what are you laughing at?
I just wondered if that was a song title from the band Squeeze.
No, it's a condition after 65 sometimes.
Okay.
Follows the game Pull My Finger. No, it's a movie called Hot Seat. It's a former hacker who's forced to break into high-level banking companies by an anonymous man who has planted a bomb under this person's chair at his office. So Mel Gibson's the guy in the chair. He's in the hot seat.
Is he
That
the guy
scenario
in the chair? Or is he
sounds
the guy that's got to
terrible.
get the guy off the chair? No?
I thought he was the guy in the hot seat.
Oh, maybe I read that quickly.
Well, it would stand to reason you could read that quickly, because he's also done another, or working on another movie called The Bandit with Josh Duhamel and Alicia Cuthbert.
I love Josh Duhamel. I love him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's handsome.
He's Fergie's ex.
Well, he plays a career criminal who teams up with a seasoned bad guy, Mel. Mel. So that we can look forward to Hot Seat and The Bandit.
You know
2
that
separate ventures.
there's a couple of Hollywood actors, or I should say there's a few that are reminiscent of each other. Josh Duhamel, Justin Hartley from This Is Us,
Mm-hmm.
and Ryan Reynolds.
Yep. I like them all.
Mm.
And Justin Hartley, is it, yes, what
This
you
Is
said,
Us,
right?
yeah.
And This Is Us. He totally looks like Tom Cruise.
Yes, and he used to be on my soap opera, by the way. So when he was on the soap when he hit it big to get the lead in This Is Us.
Nice.
So he left my
Look
soap
back.
opera.
We're getting that. So back to the notion of some of our favorite artists having made the most of their lockdown time. Elton John is one of those artists, and the lockdown sessions, by the time this show is being heard by our friends, is out. Lockdown Sessions also features a song with Dua Lipa, which has hit number 2 on the UK charts, which has given him the distinction of having a top 10 song in 6 different decades.
Bananas.
Isn't that wild?
He's so awesome.
He really is. And he's interested in music, in making music, like continually staying alive as an artist. It's fantastic to watch.
And he's more aware of younger artists than I think anyone. Like
he always has been.
Yeah, and he's super on the ball. Like he was aware of Ed Sheeran before Ed Sheeran broke, and mentored him. There's a group called Surfaces that we were playing on our station last year, Sunday Best. He's done a song with them, which I think is actually on this album. He's super into Charlie Puth, because Charlie Puth is, very experimental with how he creates songs. Like Elton at 74 is just like, he's a good example of someone who like is still on it, and age is nothing but a number,
Oh yeah, totally. Incredible. And he's always got an attention to the production detail too, that even his older stuff, 70s stuff, the production on it is just so immense, that it's like all encompassing. It's an experience. It's just incredible. Makes the hairs on my arm stand up. More music news though from a different band. But you know what? Elton John could be a different guy too. Red Hot Chili Peppers. After months of hearing that they've been working on new music, it's actually coming closer to being ready, according to Chad Smith, who seems to be the guy that does the talking for the Chili Peppers a lot, who said that they've never actually felt the pressure to live up to what they've done before, which is really cool, because they're the kind of band that they release an album and you're like, yeah, that's totally Chili Peppers. It sounds Chili Peppers to me, but it doesn't necessarily sound like the one before, which is really cool. Chad Smith said, all of our records are just real good snapshots of where we're at that time. You can't really go, oh, gee, I hope it's as good as, because he says, then you're starting to have preconceived notions about what you want to write, which I guess sort of paints you into a corner. So that's according to Chad Smith. And he went on to identify the elephant in the room. It's not really an elephant in the room. It's the return of John Frusciante, who has, it's been about 10 years, but it's all very normal. Chad went on to say that he goes, look, John hasn't been in our group in 10 years. That's a long time. So of course it's going to sound different, but it's going to sound like the four of us, because we do have this special chemistry together. End quote. We'll keep you posted with dates on new Chili Peppers and when we'll get it officially. You ready for a 90s rewind?
Yes,
Let's
ma'am.
Do it.
Do it.
Sharon, before you start, I would like to say that Adam, you need to up your game on that sound effect.
I like it. It sort of hurts my neck at the same time.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
I feel like it needs to be bigger and badder.
Batter? Bigger or worse? Nope, batter.
Yeah.
You guys ready to go back to 1998?
Nope.
Yes, that would be the year after the Velvet Rope was released.
Write that down. Put it on a card. We're making a game. The Bare Naked Ladies were hitting their stride with 1 week. And by hitting their stride, I mean continuing to cross borders and, global domination. They were coming down from number 1, giving Monica her due with The First Night. That's a groovy tune, eh?
Groovy.
How about this one? From Monica to Monifa. And right now, Kelly's going, please don't say too much about the song Touch It. But I would dare to say that Monifa really went right at it with this song. Let's examine. And I'm going to give it to you all night long. I'm going to show your body what your tongue's doing wrong. Ooh. End quote.
You sure that wasn't a song from Squeeze?
No, Monifa, Touch It. How about Mill Smith? That's Will Smith's aunt. She had her own record deal. Just kidding. Will Smith's reworking of Just the Two of Us was making its way into the top 20, where Next, the group Next, they had 2 songs in the top 20. One called I Still Love You, ? To my head. And the other one, their biggest hit, their former number one song called Too Close, which again, if we examine, it's one of those songs that if you really let yourself think of what you're singing along to, it's a bit much. Don't you think, Kel? Yes, you do. What? I know you do. Let's sing along, but I'll say it. Step back. You're dancing kind of close. I feel a little poke coming through on you. Gross, but like a number one song.
This is a family show.
Well, my point is, this is a number one song. We all sing these words.
Well, it's like when people sing any pop song from whoever these days, when you really examine the lyrics, they're like, what did I just say?
Exactly my point. But step back.
If you add a cowbell in there, you don't know what's happening. You're just into the groove. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah? Is that what happens?
That exact move.
Is this the time where we bail?
It's time to go now.
Yeah. Step back, so you're dancing kind of close. We gotta go.
Yeah.
That's your 90s rewind back to 1998. What a trip. All right. Kel?
Can I have a final message, which is our visual podcast you can find on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kelly Alexander Show.
Yeah. Oh, you know what you get with a visual podcast? Visuals.
What'd you say, Sharon?
Visuals.
Yeah.
That's what you get from a visual podcast.
It's a
Adam,
thing, Sharon.
What's that?
It's a thing. I Googled it.
Visuals?
Visual podcast. Sounds fancy.
Flancy indeed.
Flancy McConnell.
Kelly.
President. Gotta go.
Adam.
Sharon.
Thank you, guys.
No, thank you.
And thank you all for finding us wherever it is that you do, whether it's visually or audio. Thank you for both. We appreciate that you listen to 90s Now. Still happening.